It's time for Gardening Inside Out, a live show offering you plant advice for any space in your life. Introducing your perennial hosts, David Bates and Josh Carey.
Hey, and welcome in, everybody. It's Saturday morning. It's time for Gardening Inside Out, coming to you live here from Bates Hollow and Bates Nursery and the Green Room Studios here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. And the full cast is back. David is back. He has served a suspension. We won't talk about it.
It was a two-game suspension, fortunately, that's all. But, apparently...
Targeting is not acceptable,
well,
David.
in the head check.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that got me.
It'll get you every time now.
I'm glad to be back, and glad to know that, we're still going out there.
Yes.
And we're talking about the things that, we tend to talk about. Mm-hmm. Landscaping and gardening and all things related to that.
What they want to talk about too. They got questions.
You're right, and we do encourage you to, and we're connectable by all types of social media. Just look up Gardening Inside Out, hashtag that, and you'll find us on Facebook, Instagram. You'll find us on YouTube, which is if you're watching right now, that
Twitch.
may be there. Could be that.
We are on Twitch.
There are a whole list of other things that
I shared it to the X machine.
Okay.
So,
Well, there you go. So there's that. And that voice you heard back there, by the way, it was Tyler Blankenship.
Yes.
The capable, not more than just a voice. He is a presence that gets us on the air. And we're going to talk with the rest of our cast here shortly. But first, we're going to do this weather thing. It's a little chilly. 35 degrees here at Bates Nursery Weather Station. And today is Saturday, the 23rd of November. Getting on by. We're going to get on up to 52 today. Yesterday was actually quite pleasant, although it's a departure from what we have been accustomed to. This is what we should be getting, by the way. We should not be having these 70-degree temperatures, and we've got none of it in the forecast. Well, briefly on Monday. 34 for the overnight low tonight, 65, 53 on Sunday, and a mostly sunny day. Monday, 70 degrees and 38 with some light rain late in the afternoon. Tuesday, chill down again, 49, 35, 57, 45 with clouds on Wednesday. Good chance of rain at the late Wednesday and early Thursday. More rain. Maybe we could get 3/4 of an inch.
We should call work on Thursday.
You think?
Yeah, I think we should. Go ahead and do it now. Schools, we need to close the schools too. So
Right. Well, because it is, after all, Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And then as we roll back in here on Friday, 42 for the high temperatures, 27. So our first chances and say positive indications of actual freeze conditions. And we have people may be lamenting that and not really feeling particularly inspired by the fact that we're going to have freezing temperatures. It is time, folks.
Yes.
It's way past time. And there will be a high price to pay if we don't get some freezing temperatures that are at least on the just barely freezing. Things need to go fully to sleep. We don't have a lot of things that are juiced up by any stretch, but we need to achieve full dormancy, and I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a minute.
And stay dormant.
And stay dormant. We don't want there to be issues with regard to that. There's the United States look at the radar, and you see there's really nothing going on in our area. This Pacific Northwest, that'll be the thing coming through next week, and here in the Northeast, that's what has already come through. So a lot of clear skies, not much happening there at all. This week we did receive 19/100ths of an inch of rain. We are officially above the 5-inch mark for the month. So we've had a good catch-up month. We're right at 48 inches of rain for the year. And again, it's 35 degrees here in the Music City, and we appreciate you being here this morning and getting ready to discuss what's going on in your garden.
Yes.
Everything with respect to that. And we need go no further unless we introduce our castmates here.
Cast members.
Yes.
Yes.
Mates, members, I'll look at those as synonymous.
That's not the chorus over there, man. No, that's not the chorus. They're featured pair. They're featured
Caroline
players.
Gant, Austin Lowen. Welcome in, guys. Great to see you today.
Good morning.
And
Good morning.
And it's great to be seen, by the way. Tyler Blankenship.
Tyler Cam.
Back yonder. Oh, have we got a camera? There we go.
Tyler Cam.
There he is. So good to see him this morning. And
Likewise.
So we mentioned briefly, looks like a week out, we have real freeze coming along, and that's not a bad thing. I know at my home, it's not popular, but it may not be popular in a lot of homes, and I get that, but it is the end of November.
Yes.
It is time for cold weather to be coming along. Just roll the clock back a couple of years, and we had a similar setup where we had a 60-degree drop in a single day, and because plants were not really fully into dormancy, we got a lot of damage, severe damage. We don't want to see a repeat of that.
We're still seeing signs of that damage. I mean, it's still coming.
Yeah, it's a lingering freeze effect. So people who have not dealt with it, you either just look at these sticks for the foreseeable future, or wait for something to grow back out from the base. But so Austin, tell me what you think about that. Are you feeling good about where we are weather-wise, specifically regard to the temperature, or where do you come down on that?
I mean, I think it's like you just said, it's time. Like it's late for this to happen, but at least it's happening. And I think it is funny that we still talk about the freeze 2 years later, almost daily out here.
Yes.
Like seriously, almost daily I get people that say like, well, yeah, remember 2 years ago my laurels lost all their leaves, or whatever. And so, yeah, you're right. It is, plants are still not actively growing, but they're still not necessarily dormant yet. And some things are actively growing. I mean, some things are. What I noticed specifically was the Korean boxwoods that are out there. They had a fall flush, like a spring flush, except for in the fall. So they have a lot of tender growth leaves right now. So I'm wondering if that growth is going to really be damaged, coming up here within the next week or so, if we get that real freezy temperatures.
It was windy yesterday too, so I mean that was the one. Yeah,
I hate the wind.
that's what got us in.
You hate a lot of parts
back there
of the
in that
weather.
winter 2022. That wind chill factor got us as well. So I mean, I mean, stuff is still. It's just out there. I mean, I've stuff that I've expected to go away is still going in.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it's become time. This is kind of the week. We've had at least 3 nights now of pretty much frost. I've had frost on my windshield for the past 3 mornings.
Yeah, I had frost this morning.
Yeah. So
and I wonder how my houseplants are that are still.
How are they? Give us an update. Are your houseplants in?
No, I spent last Monday bringing most of them in. I got my huge cactus. I should have sent a picture to Tyler to bring up.
I'll get it up.
Okay, but I had sent them a photo. I did get the giant cacti in, but I probably still have about 20 houseplants still outside.
Those are those ones that you're just like, do I really want you, or am I just
Not
gonna
necessarily.
let you go?
I just get home from work at night and I'm like,
I don't
it's
want to
10
mess
p.m.
with plants. I've been doing this all day long. I know the feeling.
But you
yes.
But I'm learning about them.
But you got to be honest. You're probably the last 20 that you got are probably the ones you like the least, right? Yes.
Got an alert from
Maybe.
That was
Oh,
that was me.
Perhaps.
Okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, and I don't want them to hear that because I don't want their feelings to be hurt.
Oh gosh.
It's a lot. It is a lot. Right? As of yesterday, they still looked fine. So, but I had a little bit more frost in my house this morning.
And
than
this
I've been
is
having.
also the time of year in relation to that a lot of people start thinking about, what do I need to do? Can this possibly make it through the winter? Can it? No. And is it, could I build some kind of a protective structure around it? Maybe heat it over the winter? Well, you could.
Yeah.
But is all that effort and the expense going to be worth it? Should you perhaps maybe like with that big cacti there?
Show that cactus again, Tyler. Bring it up, man.
That's a real specimen right there.
That is.
So these are
out a
huge,
little.
and you can see we're actually doing some renovation in our living room, and there's no ceiling right now.
Oh.
So if we had
That's
our
a
ceiling,
look.
we wouldn't be able to fit it in. So there's that.
So you're gonna air layer some stuff off of that? You're just gonna cut it back?
Next summer, like beginning of the summer, I am going to cut that one back. Both of them because they won't fit in my house next year. But that one on the left, is massive.
How long have you had that?
I grew it from a cutting that was probably like 1.5 feet, just one little arm. And I've had it for about 12 years.
Wow.
Dang.
That is a specimen.
It is.
So I could
Showstopper.
never let it go. I'd be so sad. So that is
the
one that I get
difficulty
in.
is making the decision on how you're going to cut it.
Well,
without disfiguring it, because it looks, flawless right
pretty
now.
perfect, yeah.
It's like a little cathedral. I already have cut the very center.
Well, since
That's
you got
already
the
been cut
sheetrock
back.
down, just go ahead and raise those lower rafters, and let's just do a dual pitch up.
We'll just put a hole in the floor upstairs
It
and
could
just
work.
keep it going. But I have gotten very good at moving big cactus in and out of houses, of the greenhouse. When we were moving that, my husband was like, "Do you think we could just make a living moving big plants?" And I was like, "I don't want to do that. That sounds terrible."
It may not be bad while you're young, but I'm here to let you know that doesn't last.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still hard. Yeah.
I bet that cactus is like 200 pounds. Or
It
something.
weighs
Cactus
a lot.
Is so heavy.
And I wanted to get it in before the rain so the soil wasn't wet, making it heavier. And I did not do that. So.
One thing that cannot be apparent to the viewers and the audience, but frequently the sight line between Austin and myself, the direct is obscured because there's something on this little display thing that we have here. Today it's
That's a
totally
secret.
blocked. I have to look at the monitor to be able to see Austin. But is that something you're going to talk about later
That's a good
on?
segue. Let's go ahead and talk about what we have on the hot plate today. And a hot plate is very on point for what holiday is coming up.
It's the Thanksgiving edition, and look, we're going to talk about the
Look at this fall
turkey in the
color.
room.
Look at this fall color.
Oh, Caroline, okay, it's going. Y'all
It's happening.
wait
Get
for it.
ready. Everyone
Caroline,
prepare
stop
yourself.
it at the stop it at the perfect. Oh, look at the.
It's almost
We're
there.
getting there. Y'all look.
There we go.
We
made a turkey.
All right.
We started with an arborvitae. We were like, we're going to make a plant turkey. And we did.
It was a group effort.
We collected leaves. We got googly eyes. Thank you, Rachel, in the
Shout
office
out,
for
Rachel.
just having some googly
Well,
eyes.
you know what? And Rachel's doing what only Rachel can do is to be able to just on the spur of the moment, just dig through her purse or her little box, and then there they are.
Yeah, the googly eyes. Tyler, can you zoom in? Is there any way we can get a close up of this turkey? Look, Caroline, fix the feet.
Okay. Well, your leaves got a little bit.
Oh,
crispy.
the leaves got
So the feet was
crinkled.
Austin's big addition.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just imagine.
Oh, look.
There's
There's
one.
at least one
Okay,
foot.
there's 1 foot.
Look at our turkey.
Hold
Caroline
on.
did those feathers,
I'm gonna
though.
Turn it.
It's so good. We were so proud of this turkey yesterday. Turn it back.
I
There we
will
go.
say I'm very quick with the hot glue gun.
Yeah, the hot glue gun.
I taught
happened.
preschool for a little while, so
We gathered tons
all
of
of
leaves.
those crafts.
Am I seeing some hollies in there and some dogwood leaves?
There's
and-
definitely dogwood. There's
leaves
no
for sure.
holly.
No holly?
What is
I
the
did
body?
want to play a game of Austin trying to pick out or name all of the leaves, but there are a lot, so that might be a little
Well,
too. That's Anna's magic ball.
A great
arborvitae.
assortment of textures and
Mm-hmm.
colors. So wonderfully done. And but again, I can't not see. I may be
Yeah.
pointing at Austin, but I cannot
Can't
see
see
him.
me at all,
I
no.
can only see him on the monitor. So hello, Austin.
Yes, hello.
We can live an hour without viewing each
You
other.
can't
That's
see
right.
the pot they did. I mean, they took this all the way down to the hot plate. They've got the burlap or gunny
That was
sack
also
on it.
Austin. Austin was like,
Okay.
Caroline, we got to get
And
burlap
the
around
jute
it.
twine,
Yes.
which every gardener should have a ball of that, right?
Yeah, we were so proud of this, y'all. We grabbed every employee that works here yesterday and made them come in here and look at our turkey.
So you're going to be expecting like a card or something, a special company, commendation for above and beyond the call
Yeah.
of artistic ability.
That's right.
You know what? I really want someone to just take this whole thing home and just plant it. And you can plant a turkey in your yard. That way, you always can see a turkey in your yard, and you get an arborvitae with it.
In a week, it's just going to be some bamboo stakes
Yeah.
with hot glue on it.
It's okay. It's gonna be great. You know what, Joyce? You come out, put it in a pot, and keep your turkey.
Yeah,
close
Joyce,
to you.
Smith
come on
said
out.
it's nice.
Who?
So Lisa Smith said it was
Thank
nice.
you,
Lisa, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa Smith.
That's sweet.
So
Alita loves it.
So when
Okay.
people come out today, where will this reside after the program?
We're
this morning?
gonna put it dead center of the nursery where everyone can see it.
Dead center of the
We're
nursery.
gonna bring the
Where
whole plate
is
out.
dead center
Where
of
is-
the
I don't
nursery?
know. I don't know. But we're gonna find it.
I feel like that would be somewhere in Ryan's world in the Bates Trio,
Maybe,
right?
maybe we'll keep the lazy Susan out and we'll keep it spinning all day. And
We're going to have to run a really long extension cord for the
There's
lazy
there
Susan.
are
It's
some,
going to be
there are
great.
some outlets in that area, so we could do it.
Oh,
out
we'll
there.
find a spot. We'll make this happen. Look, if we can make a turkey out of an arborvitae, we can make this happen.
We can,
Okay?
absolutely.
I think your best bet is going to be somewhere near the perennial area where that you've got. That's kind of where all the aisles converge, and there are benches and outlets, and you've got Bridget and Celeste down there, and
that can keep it company.
That's a good idea.
I will say, I did get kind of sad leaving yesterday and saying bye to the turkey because it was sitting here by itself all night in the dark with those little eyes just open, waiting.
Never slept a wink all night.
It couldn't close its eyes.
Someone take this turkey home.
Someone can buy this turkey.
Plan.
All right, but we do have quite a few questions, so we're ready
good.
Let's do that.
to dive on into
Sure.
them.
Okay.
Right, we've got a lot of questions about planting in the cold, so we will start with those. Is it too cold this weekend to finally plant the conifers I have been procrastinating on?
Oh, gosh. No. Especially
Absolutely
conifers.
not.
Yeah, I mean,
They're gonna
conifers are
love
typically the most cold hardy of cold hardy. So I don't know what you're growing, but there's not too many conifers that like love the heat. It's more like they love the cold. So it's time.
You know, it's
Like,
always fascinating to me, Austin, how the people equate still to this day on so many things equate, time with planting.
Yeah.
And from the overwhelming majority of the things that we have that are available in the entire scope of flora that we offer and that everyone else
Or
does.
fauna.
yeah.
You can plant it anytime. I
Yes.
mean, the only time you can't plant it is when the ground is frozen solid, and in these parts,
pretty
that's not very much.
No.
You might have a week, a year, or maybe every couple of years it's that way. So the main thing is just do the things you would normally do your soil prep, water in thoroughly. Even if it's rained, it's more about getting the air pockets settle out of the soil. So if you do the things that you're supposed to do whenever you might believe is the optimal time to plant, you're going to have equal success. So right now is a really good time.
If not better success. I mean, getting them in and then letting them be latched in for the spring and let them do their thing, and already be kind of in there. And you're right, David. Like every day this time of year, we get questions. Hey, is it too late for me to plant? Like, I'm out here wanting to buy some stuff or whatever, or just at least looking like, but is it too late? Or like,
I always
you're
want to
right,
ask,
no.
what time is it?
Yeah, exactly. I know. So,
No, I don't mean time of day. No, I know what you mean.
yeah, I think the 2 year ago freeze really ruined people. Like,
Well, they're scared now, and that's understandable.
exactly. And there's a
How
ton
many
of new people
conifers
from
really
here.
got hurt in that, though?
Oh, well, no
My
conifers.
conifers
I mean,
were shining during that.
Yeah,
And
they welcomed it.
And to be fair, that was so severe and so abrupt, and so everything was so unprepared for it that it didn't matter whether you had just planted something or it had been in the ground 15 years.
Oh, exactly.
The amount of damage was equal.
Yes, great point. Yeah. I mean, like you just said, if you would have just planted a laurel or you had a laurel for 10 years, either way, they lost their leaves 2 years ago. Okay?
Yeah, or all the way back to the ground. My next door neighbor lost a half a dozen that were at least 25 years old.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was a sad time.
We couldn't have prepared for that weather event that happened.
I mean,
that was crazy.
we did here at the nursery.
Oh, of course, we did.
But as homeowners, it's very difficult.
It's hard to move one in the ground.
Well, we have been through a number of abrupt things before, and that was when, and I know Austin remembers it well, we were just finishing up the Baystrium area for the initial winter season use. So there was a lot of work that went into it, and a mild degree of trepidation because it was very windy, pretty severe, and we were able to keep the conditions controlled sufficiently enough to ensure we didn't get any damage, which from a resale standpoint is really important.
Yes.
To anybody who's considering buying something, you don't want to buy something that you're worried about it, whether it's going to be alive or not. And so we're fortunate to have the kind of facilities that allows us to be able to do that and always assure you of getting plants that are healthy and at their very best.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of that, Jane Ann Gibbs on YouTube says, speaking of the Batesrium, when I was at the nursery Friday for discount pansies and violas, I surely appreciated the protection the Batesrium provides from the wind.
We are really glad that they do, and we'd appreciate if you didn't call us Shirley.
Don't call
me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley.
Don't do it.
It is.
All
But
right,
if
let's
somebody were to call you Shirley, what would be a good thing? Surely you would want to use the best garden mix available
But
on the
if
planet.
you want to have the highest reliability as far as what you can get out of your planting efforts, you only have to look towards Earth Mix. Earth Mix Garden Products is a product line we developed a great many years ago, and we continue to develop it. And the whole premise is Mother Nature tends to give plants the things that plants need. It's not necessary to use chemical additives or to do things that are outside the scope of what is in the best practices of what Mother Nature does. And that's how Earth Mix got started, and kind of the origin story of the name. Let's study what the earth naturally provides and see if we can do things to create the right ratios of products to give maximized growing efficiency. That's what Earth Mix does. And it's all done as sustainably as we can possibly make it. It's 100% organic. There's no peat in any of no peat in, and there, so you want to use products that have a way to be able to be sustainably gotten. Coconut coir is, in our estimation, far superior than using peat bogs. Peat does a good job, and it is a good substrate additive. However, you do get some things with it, such as fungus gnats, which are a little annoying, particularly in house plants. And if you're looking for interior landscape planting soil, Earth Mix Proganics I is what Caroline and many other interior specialists would recommend, simply because it has no peat in it. It gives you all the best things, and your plants for at least the first month will not need any additional nutrients, any additional additives to it. They're going to grow and thrive. So if you're thinking about transplanting some things or you need to add some soil, that's a great place to start. The flagship product of the Earth Mix line, Earth Mix Garden, is where it all started. And we've developed a lot of products since then, but Garden is the one that is used for a wide variety of gardening projects. That's kind of the way we name these things. One that you see used a lot right now is Earth Mix Landscape, because if you're doing landscaping, that's a great soil amendment. Right now, Earth Mix Supernatural is kind of the product that all of these others have been somewhat based on. It's a common element in many of and so it's our organically produced and locally produced compost that we have here at Bates Nursery, and it's available at other sellers all over the area.
Everywhere.
Check on the Find Earth Mix tab there at earthmix.net, and you'll see all of the great folks who are sellers of the product. We don't have our newest seller yet. We've got Victory Gardens out in Meridian, Idaho. We've Crested Butte, Colorado. And Tyler, can you give me the name of that company? Right, I'm sorry to put you on the spot on that.
Well, they're closed for the winter, so we don't want to send people there when they're not open. But we got Rocky Mountain Trees in Crested Butte, Colorado,
and because they actually have winter there.
Yes, they might have about 12 feet of snow on them.
Now, there's also quite a number of locations in Tennessee, Kentucky, northern Alabama, western North Carolina. Check all those out. You can zoom in or just put your little pointer in on either one. Put your address in for turn-by-turn directions for the location nearest you. And just remember this: success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix Garden products. And we appreciate you giving us a couple of minutes to talk about that and help take the work out of your gardening efforts. We want you to have success, but there's no need in having to make it more difficult than necessary.
Whether your name is Shirley or Laverne.
Exactly.
Yes.
So thank you for that. And now back to our normally scheduled program. We caught Caroline chatting over there. I'm sure it was important things.
It was very important things. All right. But speaking of important things, there's still important things happening.
Are there?
I don't know.
Are there?
What's in? Are there?
What's
Yes.
Are there?
What's
Okay.
in bloom?
with Austin.
Good work, Tyler. I like that. You know what? This is going to be, I think, the last week of What's in Bloom. Okay, so
What?
say goodbye. Say
What are you
goodbye to
gonna
What's
do
in
with
Bloom.
For a
Place?
little bit.
We're gonna brainstorm. We got to
Okay.
get together, get
We'll
our heads
figure out
together,
something.
figure some stuff
It may
out.
just
on-
have to be poinsettias for the next month.
Maybe,
Christmas
maybe,
cactus.
exactly. Or we're gonna come up with a whole new segment. I think I've got plans. I've got
All
ideas.
right.
Okay, but you know what? There is still some things in blooms. Okay, let's talk about the things that are supposed to be blooming. Your pansies and your asters, they're still in bloom. The asters didn't even care about this frost we've had.
No.
They still look good right now, minus their ranginess and overall not my favorite form at
And
all.
mine all have powdery mildew.
Oh, great. Yeah. Ugh. It's been a bad fall for like powdery mildew, downy mildew. Like it's been a little bit rough out there, okay? Anyway, all right, let's talk about an annual that is fantastic, that is still in bloom, and those are petunias. My favorite. Y'all know me. You know the petunias are my fave, and they did not get affected by these frosts at all. Looking great this morning. Looking great. I should have taken a pic. I
Yeah,
didn't.
mine
know,
are going strong.
They are not quite as tough as a pansy for cold weather,
No.
but they're close.
They're kind of close. You're
They
right.
can handle a light freeze, and it really doesn't do that much to them.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, are y'all? This is a question. I have a question mark written down here. Are your azaleas and your deciduous magnolias that have been blooming, are they still good? I don't know. I think they probably are.
I think they probably
actually the
are.
magnolia probably not. I bet the magnolias that were throwing some blast blooms probably got damaged over the past 3 days. So probably not those in bloom anymore. Did the azaleas hold up okay? Because they're full show around town.
Yeah.
Like full show around town. Did they get affected? Y'all chime in. Let us know if you got azaleas. I want to know if they're mushy this morning or if they're perky this morning. Okay?
My
Let us
azaleas
know.
never bloomed. They never cracked.
Interesting. Isn't that interesting? And then you see some all around town that are
Yeah.
just full show or half show. Like, plants are weird.
Mine
They
have
just
been
do what
blooming
they
like
want.
crazy.
Yeah, see? But still, y'all comment. Let us know if your azaleas still look good, okay? Hey, my Chinese viburnum right now is still throwing blooms, and it looks fine. It did not get affected. Now, the blooms are not as big as they typically are in the spring. They're a little bit like half size, but that's okay. They're still showing white. It's a good plant. Chinese viburnum, y'all, you need to be growing it. It is fantastic. Just make sure you have room for it because they explode. Very big, very quick.
And there's no tariffs associated with those.
That's right.
Exactly. Yep.
Shout out to our
200%, man.
Shout out to our GM who was in last week, filling in for David.
Yep.
Adam Chapman, you're
Thank you,
Abelia.
Adam.
Yes, thank you,
yeah.
Adam. Adam loves Abelia.
He does.
Abelia is a great little shrub.
Buy now,
Hardy-
be you later.
That's right. Hardy as it gets. He loves selling that plant, and he's got a point because they're still in bloom, looking fantastic. And then let's just go to the last one, which is just as classic gets. If you're growing roses this year, you've had a good fall, and I know you're happy. I know it because if you have a hybrid tea rose or a floribunda or a grandiflora, yeah, a lot of people have knockouts, and those look good right now too. But if you've got the old school classic roses and they're throwing buds right now and throwing blooms, they are holding on because we have nice daytime temps and cool nighttime temps. It's kind of like they're in a florist. You know, the florist, the back room, it's cold, man.
High humidity too, so I mean they're digging it.
It
man.
has been great. Ben Trest, who's one of our buddies, and a horticulturist that works out here, he went to a Mr. Lincoln rose the other day on the lot that was blooming, and it was just fantastic. I mean, just that prom, and he wanted to smell it, and he went down to grab it to smell it, and he broke it right off. And I was like, Ben, what are you doing? But anyway, I ended up taking that rose home to my wife, and I put it in a vase, and it's still at my house right now. And that Mr. Lincoln rose is picture perfect. Okay, so if you've got your
I
roses,
didn't know the backstory behind that rose when you brought it in.
yes, that's how it happened. That's how it all went down. I
Just
saw it
snatched
happen.
it from Ben's hand.
He
He broke
goes,
it, and you said,
"Whoops."
"Give me that. I'm bringing that home."
Pretty much. But it's showing tones of like pinkish, reddish, dark black on the interior. Like, y'all, if you've got roses and there's a bunch of buds on them, please cut some of those roses and bring them in your house because it is so fantastic to watch those go from tight in bud to fully open bloom. And the smells you get are fantastic. So all you rosarians out there, even if you're not a rosarian, you're just growing roses. Good for you. Classic roses. Look at that, Tyler. Perfect way to end.
Oh, wow.
Perfect way to end. That's my hand. Sorry.
Look at hand model. Wow.
No,
Look
sorry.
at that.
But that is, what was that rose? It was called
Fragrant Cloud.
Fragrant Cloud, and it's so fragrant.
Yeah, that one smelled amazing.
And I didn't break it. It's actually still out there right now. You can
It's
see
so
it.
heavy it kind of flopped down a little bit.
It does. It like
it's hanging
turned
on
down.
there.
It's
the
got
side.
a petal count of like 38 or something. Like an amazing petal count on that. Y'all,
Huge, too.
Our roses right now. If you want to see
Fragrant.
good looking roses, come out to see us right now. Like we got some
They
old
do
school
look
roses
good.
that are looking money, and they're 20% off. that's what's in bloom. Thank you. That's it for the year. That's it. That's all. That's all you get. We got to tell them something.
Way to go, man.
That's all you got.
Yeah, my carefree
Aw.
wonder going crazy.
You're welcome.
Hey, Joyce says my encore azaleas are money. Joyce
Okay.
also says my hellebores started blooming, which I've heard from some plant friends of mine that they have hellebores that are starting to bloom in Ostin. I was combining that with your name.
Good job,
And then
Joyce.
Joyce also says mine. And I'm assuming Joyce is referring to the turkey. So it looks like the turkey has been claimed by a good friend of the show.
Joyce, you're taking our turkey home.
Yes.
Oh.
And Donna says, happy Thanksgiving. Love the turkey plant. Such a creative group with so much talent on all levels. Thank you, Donna. That's
Donna.
probably one of the
All levels?
nicest things anyone, all levels.
So sweet.
Creativity
Every
on
level.
every single level.
Yeah.
But y'all, we got a
Sea
lot of
level.
questions. So let's get back into them.
Okay.
When, if ever, do I prune drift roses?
Oh, well,
Gosh.
you can. I mean, you can almost prune a drift rose any time of year. I'm not going to
Pretty
lie. Like,
much.
When
yeah,
would you do it?
well, when would I do it? I mean, honestly, you kind of prune throughout the season. Like we do here, y'all.
They
at the
are a
nursery.
shrub.
They're a shrub rose. So, like, they'll send a huge flush of blooms out. And then once that kind of finishes, like,
That's when I
cut
get
them.
mine.
Yeah, like cut them like that's like during the growing season.
Because they like a haircut.
Oh, they really do. And they push new growth and they push new blooms very quick after you do that. So, I mean, doing it during the season is certainly, a good practice.
And typically, that's when you would want to apply fertilizer if you're needing to, reapply during the growing season. Give them a shear back, apply the fertilizer, then boom, because they bloom on generally a monthly cycle, but that cycle is more dependable if you're doing a regular pruning on them. And since they're a shrub, a shear is really nice and easy, and you can keep them looking tremendous.
Yes.
And Renee and I were out of town
Were you?
for a couple. We actually were. We were out of town for a couple of weeks, and Renee was, astounded by how fantastic her roses looked in the front bed. Drift roses right there in the front. They were amazing.
It's been
Yeah,
a
my
great
drift
And all are
roses right
amazing.
now are in full bloom.
Yes, it's been a great year. And just to finish up, if your rose is really rangy over the wintertime, it's kind of leggy, it's throwing some wild hairs or whatever, let's just prune it back tight, okay? So you don't have to go too far or anything, but let's get everything back uniform. That way in the spring we'll have a nice uniform bust, and the spring bloom's going to be great.
Beautiful. Amazing.
Yep.
We're going to talk about another flower that Austin is a big fan of.
Here we go.
What
we
do I
got?
do with my dahlias? Dig them up? You said, oh.
Yeah, love me some dahlias. They're great. For best success, we recommend that you certainly dig them up, put them in like a
You look like you were playing the piano, and I just had to say.
you put them in like a paper bag, the tubers. They're kind of big, so try your best to really dig,
Really wide.
around them. Yeah, because we really want to not damage those as much as we can. When you lift dahlias, like be careful. Like the tubers will break off somewhat easily, so let's be a little bit gentle with that.
And they're very expensive also.
Yes.
They are.
My
So it's
gosh,
a good
yes.
practice to try to overwinter these guys inside your home, but or in your shed or something. Like we don't want hot. We don't want our homes in the winter are 70, 72-ish. We don't necessarily want that. Will they wake up in the house at that? Sometimes maybe, but if you keep them in a dark spot, say like under your sink or something, like in a random spot like that, or even in your shed.
Just don't forget about them.
Yeah, just don't forget about it. But yeah, we do recommend this. Now, can dahlias perennialize here? Most certainly. Ben
Tyler's had some.
Tyler's had some over winter. We've had Ben have some over. What did he tell us? About a third of his dahlias. He didn't dig anything last year, and he said about a third of them just came back by themselves. So
Diminishing
are
returns.
those odds great? No, not necessarily. So that's why we recommend to lift them.
If you just knew which 2/3 weren't going to make it, you would only dig those up.
Exactly.
There's got to be a pattern. There's got to
very
be a
hard
pattern
to
in somewhere.
Yeah, and it's not always the cold with
right.
dahlias. It's also the wet over
Right.
the winter.
They can
Wetness.
rot
They can just
badly.
rot in the ground. So that's another reason for lifting. So I do recommend that because dahlias are so worth growing.
You love them.
So
How can you not?
So really, to be on the safe side, you really should dig up about half of them, and that way you can dig them up where you want to, and then you're going to have it in a little insurance policy.
There you go.
That those are very likely to survive if you get them in the right conditions inside. Maybe pack them in a bag with perlite, for instance, or something that's very
sure.
dry that will keep them from, if there is rot that occurs, keep them from touching each other. And then the ones that you have left out, then you'll
We'll see what happens.
Just see what happens. It won't be a lost cause.
All right. Speaking of bulbs and tubers and all of that, can I still plant spring bulbs or is it too late? If so, what bulbs do you recommend?
Well, the bulbs that you can find right now, I mean,
Yeah.
I think is kind of the thing. We certainly still have daffodils. We certainly still have tulips. We have hyacinths, I believe, still in
Irises.
there.
We're still
We've got
pretty
irises.
We
stocked
have
on
a good
stuff.
amount of bulbs.
Yeah.
Do we have irises? I don't know if we have irises or not, Josh. As a bulb form, we probably have some in pots with roots, already in a can.
I think we still have some.
Yeah. But those are kind of the bulbs that we still have left. And yeah, certainly it is time. Yeah, get them in. Like, you plant bulbs cold, You know
I
what I'm going
planted
to
a
do?
ton in the winter 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't really
It
matter
was
all
like
that much.
January, and I had them, so I said, I'm just going to try it.
I'm going to plant garlic soon. I told my wife the other night, I'm like, why am I not growing garlic? I've
time.
planted garlic one
Did
time.
you tell her or
I
ask
did.
her?
I
Told her.
I told her why.
Told her.
she didn't care. She was like, yeah, sure, throw some garlic on. She uses garlic all the time. I've planted garlic in the snow. It was a snowy, muddy, yucky mess whenever I planted that garlic. You know what? Came up in the spring. You know what? Harvested it.
You know what? It was great.
Ate it. Actually, I don't know if I ate it.
Why
Maybe you
wouldn't
didn't. You
Sold
didn't know it.
It was when I worked for MTSU at the university.
Oh.
We
Tyler.
sold organic veggies, but the garlic was great. And why am I not growing it? I need to be.
I've heard it's a rascal. I mean, it can be real finicky.
No,
I've never had any issues with my
I've never
garlic.
had
I've
issue
heard,
with garlic
yeah.
either.
Huh?
No, it's just another bulb you plant in the wintertime. It's going to come up and be fine. It's easy. Y'all know you can go to the grocery store. It's not necessarily recommended, but you can go to the grocery store and you can peel off every single individual clove from a garlic. Stick those right in the dirt. They're going to make you a whole new garlic for the next season.
A whole new garlic.
A whole new garlic.
A whole new garlic.
That was a
Whole
bad
new
sentence.
garlic.
Okay, I realize that was
It
a
was
bad
a great sentence.
No, it'll make a whole new bundle of cloves. Okay, from one. Y'all know what I'm saying.
I love it.
Quit.
Bulb?
Quit, you said, get on to the next question. Hey, Joyce, bringing it back to dahlias, Joyce did ask, is an unheated garage better than inside the house for dahlias?
I would say so.
I think so.
Absolutely.
That's the spot. Yes, your garage.
That is it.
I don't have a garage, so I tend to forget about that. But yes, if you have a garage, that's
You
perfect.
don't have a garage?
No.
I mean, I don't have a garage.
I mean, I got like a shed.
I got a barn.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same thing.
And
Kind of.
the qualifier there was unheated garage.
Yes, that's the point.
Exactly.
You want it to be enclosed structure so that it doesn't have a rapid temperature change. You want it to be fairly consistent. In the crawl space of the house underneath or in the basement is really probably the better place if that's available to you, simply because they don't want to freeze, and they don't want to break dormancy either. So,
dark
trying
one.
to keep them in that sort of refrigerated state.
And you got to get down there and crawl in your crawl space. I mean,
Oh, well, it's
Oh,
the most
yuck.
underutilized feature of any house. If you've got a crawl space and you're not getting down there and crawling around,
I do it all the time. Yeah, once a week. My crawl space is terrifying, actually.
Yuck! I hate crawl spaces, but they are good. They are good, like root cellars, if you will. I mean, let's give an example. We've all seen a potato over the wintertime shoot a sprout, haven't you? Very similar to dahlias. We have a home that's, like I said, about 72 degrees, and that potato, maybe you put it close to a window, and it's seeing some sunlight, and then it then it cracks. A new leaf, I'll quit. And that's what we're talking about. That's what we want to avoid. Okay?
we're
So, yes,
making
Joyce.
up words here.
Yeah, we are.
There we
On
are.
I love
gardening
that
and
you keep playing piano over there.
I'm not. I'll put them up.
Don't put those piano playing hands up.
I can't play
Keep
the
them
piano.
out.
Or
Keep playing the
or
piano.
you could keep your dahlia in a container and, like mine, enter its second winter where I'm overwintering it in my greenhouse and I just let it grow. Sometimes it'll bloom.
If you got a greenhouse, certainly, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can keep that thing going.
That's what I
Tyler, good
did.
work.
And then I just put it back out.
Yeah.
Keeps growing.
Love
Sweet.
it. Love it.
I wish I had a
Trouble-free.
greenhouse.
To build you a greenhouse,
Nah.
get you one. Let's get another question in real quick.
Let's
Does
do it.
lemongrass grow here? We are in Middle Tennessee. Does it help with erosion? It will grow here in the spring and summer, but it is not a perennial here.
I grew it in pots.
The nice
does
6-footer.
well.
It gets huge. I
Yes.
planted it. The first time I grew it, I thought it would just be this cute little herb. I mean, it was like pampas grass that has been established for 5 years by the end of the season.
You're so right. It is insane. Like, do not buy anything bigger than a little bitty 4-inch pot of lemongrass in the spring whenever you buy it. Save your money on other plants you really want, because lemongrass, like Caroline just said, and Tyler, it absolutely explodes. Buy this little thing that's this big, by the end of the season, like you just said, it is a massive grass.
Huge. And I mean, it will help with erosion during that time. But you're going to want something that stays up, which we have a huge selection of grasses here at the nursery with Bridget, who is amazing, our grass girl. Switchgrass is great.
Yeah.
I mean, where would you find all those grasses?
I mean,
somewhere. 3810 Whites Creek Pike?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Grasses are one of the things, as I have the opportunity to travel a little bit and get to see some of these native environments. You get to see how Mother Nature uses grasses and how they really add to all landscapes. And they, whether it's grazing animals or whatever, or erosion control. Maybe it was how most people would, homeowners.
Or gazing animals like us.
It could be
like
that.
looking at grass.
Nice, Tyler.
Whether you're a gazer or a grazer, we don't differentiate here. We have ornamental grasses and a whole lot more here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. And if you're a Bates Rewards member, and you know who you are,
yes, you should.
not only are you receiving my weekly newsletter, which comes out, it's In the Garden with Bates Nursery, comes out every Thursday afternoon at 3:50.
Exactly.
And it's 350 words.
Every week.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's direct and to the point. Tell you a little story, maybe share some anecdotes about gardening, or maybe just about life in general. But the point is we're going to help communicate to you all the things that we're thinking about as we transition into this season. And of course, right now we're sprucing up for Turkey Day.
Oh,
yeah,
coming up here, and 20% off all plants, all landscape plants, and that excludes house plants. Caroline, said nope, we're not doing discounts on that.
No.
She didn't say that. I didn't ask her. that was me. That was me that said that. And in addition, it's 20% off also on Supernatural.
Good stuff.
So
man.
you get really great things to plant with. Pretty much everything, with the exception of the foliage plants that are inside. All other landscape plants are all on sale, 20% off. So check it out. Pretty much if you walk around the lot and see it, it is available at 20% off. So, and if you're not a Bates Rewards member, hey, it's really quick and easy to sign up.
Why wouldn't you be?
Well, I don't know why, but we just need your name and your email address, and we don't share your information. And you, in addition to a little newsletter I send out every week, you get the first word on everything that's going on in and around your garden. So there's that. We've been beautifying Nashville since 1932, and if you get the newsletter, you can find out all about that, why we're a Nashville tradition, and why right now is the best time to plant. So all I'm doing is reading the scroll over the website, which nobody else can see right now. But those are the things that are on there, so I don't have to try to extrapolate on the on that. So anyway, come out and see us. We're conveniently located 1 mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike. And that's just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville. And regardless of where you are coming from, it is worth the drive. We have a selection second to none. And that's not just in Middle Tennessee. That's anywhere.
Everywhere.
So if you want to see what all the hubbub's about Bates Nursery, it's a really good time to come out and see us. The weather is just right for planting, and we're here to help you. And there's another thing that I noticed on here that this holiday gift guide that we have on the Bates Nursery website.
Boy.
And from gift cards to T-shirts to bags to bulbs to all manner of things.
Tools.
You got, if you're trying to come up with gardening gifts, we really have a vast array of all those kinds of things here at Bates Nursery. So you can check that out on the website, and that'll help you to be better informed of what all we've got going on here. beautifying Nashville since 1932, Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
That's
So
right.
thank you for giving us a couple minutes to talk about that. Help you with your gardening prowess. And by the way, just as the final note, we are now closed on Sundays until spring season. So
You better come out today.
you need to come out today. We're not going to be here tomorrow. So just FYI, we don't stay open all winter on Sundays. Our hours change a little bit, but so come out today.
It will be open Black Friday, though, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Small Business Saturday.
Yeah.
Yes,
we will.
Yeah, it might be Green Friday here for all we know.
There you go.
I haven't written that article
Chartreuse.
yet. It will not be chartreuse.
It won't be
I don't
chartreuse?
think it'll be chartreuse. Unless I can come up with some catchy little something that.
Rhyme that one. Masseuse?
Caboose.
Oh.
Oh, wow,
go.
Tyler.
Mongoose.
Okay, so we'll see what I come up with. Mongoose,
Yeah.
chartreuse, caboose. So anyway, there's next week's article
Friday.
over at batesnursery.com. So check it out.
Well, you came up with a cool line earlier when you were talking. You said, if you want to spruce it up. And you know what? I bet, have a better selection of spruce than any place in the state. I would
Yes, we
guess.
do.
You could get any kind of spruce you kind of want out here. I had a guest. The reason I thought of this, I had a guest yesterday talking to me about spruce. And spruce can take it as cold can get it.
Yeah.
And we've got a selection of spruce you never even seen. And it's just fun to look at them all. I
It
mean,
is
I even
fun.
go back through those sections and I'm like, I didn't even know we had that. And I'll look at it and be like, oh, this
There's
is cool.
just so much out there.
There is, and
What were you gonna say?
and Tyler, hit the button.
What? This one?
What?
I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay, it worked.
That was amazing. I was going to say, and you can get one and use it as a Christmas tree.
Oh, good point.
Which is what I do every year. So
30
we
years, you can
weren't
make play
thinking
down
about
of
the
it,
same thing. All right, but let's take a little tour. If you haven't noticed, we kind of went with the Thanksgiving color theme.
Hence the turkey.
An
Hence the
autumn
turkey.
array of color. It
Yes.
is-
It's so much color. We did get a request to turn the turkey Lazy Susan back on. So she is spinning again.
Good.
Which she needs to be because I did even get the back of those
I
feathers.
get glimpses of Austin every now and again.
Through the turkey feathers. But let's start with what's behind us. So in the corners just above me and David's head, that is going to be Rising Sun Full Moon Japanese Maple.
Gotta
I
be
would
my
say
favorite.
it's one of the best ones. I have not bought one yet. I'm still a little bit mad at Japanese maple because I've lost a few. But if I were to get one, I would say this would be my next one. Tyler, can we actually cut to the one behind David? Because I think we'll be able to see the color on that and the huge leaves because that one is a little bit bigger than
Stand
mine.
by.
David has got the Vanna hand. Yes, so we see that yellow leaf right above David's head.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, lower on these plants is where the fall color is going to be right now. But these leaves are huge. Like most
They
of the time,
are.
Japanese maple, those leaves are small and dainty and kind of wispy. But these,
Big.
Broad.
big.
Big and broad,
Exactly.
baby.
Austin got it. He said it right away.
Love
and
it.
then right next to it, behind me, right here, opposite.
There you go.
We've got ruby slippers, oak leaf hydrangea. So
Great
this
fall
is
color.
great fall color.
Right back there. There you go.
Look at that. It's red, it's burgundy, it's still got some green in it. It's happy. And then under the TV, this was something that, I missed this. This is going to be Pacific Fire or something, Japanese maple. Is that right?
Pacific Fire. Pacific Rim.
Well,
Pacific Rim.
Listen, I've got the tag right here.
Fire. Pacific Fire.
Pacific Fire.
Great.
I knew what I was talking about. And then let's go ahead and go under the TV. Ryan said, you guys need to bring this in.
He was right. Look at it.
Look at the Thanksgiving color on this one. This is Aronia. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Low-scape snow drift, I believe.
Chokeberry.
Chokeberry, yep.
Low-scape snow fire. We're all about fire right now.
Yeah, we are.
Hence all of the Thanksgiving colors.
looks
Everything's
like fire.
red, everything's orange,
Fire up the
everything's
grill.
on fire. Fire up the grill. Get that turkey on.
Let's do it.
It's time to eat, y'all. All right, let's go down in front. We had to bring in Nandina. I was surprised that Austin was like, Caroline. And he pointed. And I said, I see the Nandina, and it looks like Thanksgiving. So on the floor, it might be kind of hard to see. There is
there it is. There it is.
Obsession Nandina. Oh, look at all that color.
I wake
It is
up
like
thinking about it every day. I'm just totally
Yeah.
totally
obsessed with it.
obsessed. Got to think about that, Nandina. Got to get some in the ground. But it is like a kaleidoscope of color, of Thanksgiving color, of fall color. Look at that.
Look at it.
It's good.
And then right above it on the corner, that's Geum, spelled Geum. This one is
Geum.
Mai Tai. It's a cocktail name. I actually did plant this last year, and mine did not come back. So I do need to try it again. I think I just chose kind of a bad spot for it. But the blooms on this, which obviously it's not blooming right now, are pretty stunning. This one has like a bright orange bloom, but the fall color on this is also almost just as great as the bloom.
Now, are they in any way related to the heuchera, which you see just to the side there? I mean, the leaf color.
They do look similar, but
now,
it
the
is
texture
not.
is different, but the leaf color kind of reminds me of that, or heucherella. You know, that.
Very similar, very similar. But we've got pumpkin spice heuchera in front, which we did bring this on, I believe, 2 weeks ago. I got so excited. We only got 6 in, and the color on those were like the most orange I've ever seen on a heuchera. And if you know me, you know I love
And
heuchera.
when Thanksgiving's gone, they're gone.
They're gone. They will be gone. But y'all come get some of this pumpkin spice heuchera. So cute, so orange. So great in the winter. Loves the shade. And behind that, we've got Rainbow Ascot Euphorbia. Great little filler for your fall containers. I'm actually going to bring this one up so you can see the color a little bit more.
Cool bloom, too.
Never
They
have
will
a
bloom.
bad trip with.
Euphorbia.
Yeah.
That's right. So many types of euphorbia. What Christmas plant is a euphorbia?
Poinsettias.
Poinsettias.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a euphorbia. And then behind this, also a thing that Ryan brought in. Am I right?
Yeah,
He
he
was
had
like,
to
you
bring those
got to
leaves."
feature these. And what is it?
It's a big leaf magnolia.
Big leaf magnolia. These leaves,
Magnolia grandiflora, or grandifolia. rather.
Grandifolia, yep. Uh-huh.
they're so cool. They're so tropical looking. I want to pick the leaf up and show it off, but then it's going to show, we're going to lose some magic on, what the turkey is on. So we're not going to pick it up. But
I don't
this
know. I
leaf,
think you might be able to. Just
I
snag
believe
it. Just
that
snag
is
it.
the
Snatch it.
Snag it.
largest
Look at that leaf size.
in eastern North America.
Just you can
that.
hide yourself with it. Look, you
can't.
can't. She's
You
gone.
can't.
That's how
If
big that leaf
has
is.
exited.
Oh, you
Wow.
you fan a king or something with this
Yeah,
leaf,
you
right?
Is
do.
it magnolia?
Yes, it's a deciduous magnolia that drops its leaves over the winter. They're native to East Tennessee.
yes, they
Grows
are
in the
native.
understory.
Yes, they're fine with the shade. I think that's why they have
Deep shade.
such a big leaf, because they need as much surface area as they can get
Wow.
to get light.
And the cucumber, the acuminata, Magnolia acuminata, is a first cousin to that has only a slightly smaller leaf, but very similar look. A little more elongated,
color.
not as wide, but they're both really
I
nice.
thought they were palm leaves.
Yeah,
I know. It's crazy.
They're tricky.
They're huge.
Anyway,
I need one of those. But that's what we have in room today.
good job, Caroline.
Right, way to go.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you're not going to give up on what's in the room after
Absolutely
this
not.
week.
No.
Okay.
No.
Even though Austin's given up on
David, it's not that I want to give up. I'm no quitter. It's that the blooms are
I'm
tired.
no quitter.
I got to come up with something new.
We'll
figure
find
it
something
out.
else. We did think about what's in Doom, but that sounds too
a
sad.
winner never
That's too-
quits, and a quitter never wins. So he's
Exactly.
not. So, all right.
All right, let's get back into some questions. What are some super slim, very low maintenance, 10 plus tall evergreen plants for a privacy fence?
Well, we have options for that, okay?
Sure do.
I mean, my favorite, y'all probably know this by now, is going to be juniper, Taylor juniper specifically. Very, very skinny and definitely 10 plus. You could expect 25, 30 usually on a Taylor juniper. And it's evergreen.
If you want that Italian cypress look, that's
Yes.
the best thing that's available. I mean, there is nothing else that has that, what we call fastigate growth
Excuse me?
habit.
It's-
It is
yeah.
Family show,
columnar,
David.
upright, and doesn't get very wide. It's full sun, though. It's not a shade plant.
No.
But they'll give you that Italian cypress look, and they'll live reliably.
Exactly. It's our native juniper. Juniper's Virginiana. Like, that's what we have here natively.
It
took
actually was a
no-
sport that was discovered in Nebraska, right?
Yep. Taylor, Nebraska.
But it's Taylor. There you go.
yeah. Right.
Too bad it didn't get discovered in Nashville.
Yeah. But it lives great in Nashville. There's also other arborvitae choices, y'all. There's, columnar boxwoods. There's upright, like sky pencil holly that's like, right around that 10-foot mark. But y'all come out and see us. We got options for that. I mean,
We do.
It's a huge topic nowadays. I need something tall and skinny for privacy. It happens all the time.
And it's an ever-growing problem simply because lot sizes are getting smaller.
Exactly.
And so the homes are closer together, and there's less space afforded to growing things, so you need something that's columnar and upright to be able to fit in the space that's there.
Builders call it density.
There you go.
Okay.
Density.
And there are those who contend that maybe there are some builders that are quite dense.
Oh,
Just a few.
Quite.
easy now.
Y'all, I can't get over this
Well,
turkey.
it's not limited to just the building trade. I mean, I resemble that remark.
Oh, being dense.
Let's get
being
to another
dense.
question.
Let's do it.
All right. Our next question comes from Cherry. We haven't seen
Cherry.
her out here in a minute. It's been a few weeks.
She comes out and hangs out with Ryan.
Ryan is great.
He is great. We all love
Everybody
Ryan.
loves hanging out with Ryan.
Uh-huh.
So Cherry says, alas, the rowdy bucks got to 3 of my newly planted trees before I had a chance to put up a barrier. The barriers are now in place, but what can I do to help the tree heal? One has disrupted the bark over 75% of the circumference. The other 2 maybe halfway. 2 maples and 1 black gum. I thought deer were finished with that sort of thing by now. Dang it. I
Hey.
appreciate your help. Signed, Cherry.
Cherry, I'm with you, girl. The exact same thing happened to me. For the past 3 years, my bald cypress has been rubbed by bucks, and they get it good. I mean, well, bad for me, but good for them. Like big chunks of bark that is peeled off. Now, look, good for you. I mean, good thing for us is that the bark is that outside layer. So as long as they're just taking the bark, which is typically what they're doing, all the parts that move nutrients and water up and down in the plant are in the next layer of wood underneath that. So if they're not getting into that, you're not going to see much damage to your plant besides the aesthetic damage that you see. It will heal. For the past 3 years, my bald cypress has healed over, and it still has it's missing the outermost layer of bark, but it's healed up. So I don't know of anything you can necessarily do besides you can maybe do like a sealer. You know, they sell it's kind of like a black tar. I know, David, you don't like it much. I don't like it much. I don't like messing with it.
It's purely cosmetic. It
Yes.
does not really perform any function other than it makes you feel like you're doing something.
Exactly.
And you are doing something.
you are
It's just not necessarily
Doing
beneficial.
anything.
Exactly. And Cherry, what you've already done, which is make a barrier around the trees, is really all you can do. Yeah, I know you wish you would have done that before the buck damage, but it happened. It's part of it. It's part of it. If all trees that got rubbed by bucks died, then we wouldn't
no
have many
trees.
trees. Okay, so that's a part of what we live with.
Even with the 25% of area where there's no damage, it'll easily come back. It just,
Takes time.
it'll take a while.
Yeah, takes time for sure.
All right, our next question comes from Colin.
Hey, Call.
Hey, Colin. Good
Morning,
morning.
Call.
Gonna help redo my in-laws' front beds. Can't help it. What are some pretty easy full sun, sandy Orlando suggestions?
Sandy, Orlando.
Get you some fan palms. That would be a great one.
Foxtail.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
foxtail. That would be good. You
hey-
can do a lot of different types of succulents, sedums.
Oh, yeah,
that are
definitely.
gonna love it.
You know, I talked to Mary in the office yesterday about a specific plant. She has me go over kind of our website and plant things that we write down.
And by the way, shout out to Mary because
Shout
she
out,
does
Mary.
a great job on
Yes.
updating it and getting information just right. That's why she goes to the source.
That's right. She came to me and we talked about a plant called Elysium. Elysium, okay?
Love my
What do we call
Elysium.
that? Anise? That's a common name, right? Is it anise?
No.
Yeah. Elysium parviflorum is literally native to very specific spots right around Orlando. So call. If you want a kind of shady-ish growing evergreen hedge type plant, like that's your foundation plant, try out Elysium. Okay?
Yep.
The blooms are beautiful. The blooms smell horrid.
They don't smell good.
Awful.
Ben
They-
Trust and
This is
bring him back
mother-in-law's
again.
house. So
I know, this is
Put
it
what
in,
a
Ben.
great option,
Go
Colin.
for
But
it,
it's
Colin.
so gorgeous. I have Florida Sunshine at my house, which sounds just like the name. It's yellow, it's stunning, and it's doing okay. It doesn't love Middle Tennessee like it would love Florida.
Exactly. And that's
Colin
the spot
put it in the
for
ground.
Elysium. Uh-huh.
Colin,
Colin,
my
thanks for
sis-
listening.
My sister lives in Fort Pierce, Florida, which is it's a coastal area, and it is pure sugar white sand.
Right.
Okay, you can plant a rock and it'll grow. I mean, it is absolutely amazing what will survive there. I would love to see maybe a true hibiscus in that application.
That'd be cool.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Orlando, you do get that periodic freeze.
Now you can get cold there.
And
yeah.
you know, the easiest thing to do is drive around and look at what other people are using and say, "Hey, Mom, Dad, do you like that one? Do you
Yeah.
like that?" You know, to get
Great
them to
point.
tell you what they like, and then research it that way. You already know.
Find the foxtail palm, though, man. I'm telling you, they're absolutely
And
stunning.
I really like the foxtail fern.
Oh, yeah. It's a good
Yeah,
one
Those
too.
are cool. Yeah. Those are both great plants. Yeah, that's going to be fun, Colin.
Yeah.
Come see us. Take
she has
some
a bird
pictures.
of paradise in her next
Oh,
door neighbor's house
yeah.
that is easily 25 feet tall.
Those get
And
huge
is
if
wild.
they're able to grow outside. We keep them indoors here, and they don't get quite as big.
Yep.
All right, let's get to another question. Is it possible to keep poinsettias living all year instead of throwing them out after the holidays? Yes.
Yes.
Most definitely.
I love my poinsettia. I keep mine kind of cut back, so the stem is getting a little bit chunky and woody. And I mean, it's just leaves right now. I love it. I showed you a picture of it the other day.
Yeah, it looks great. Your leaves look really big and juicy, like really looking
clean.
good. Yeah, the stems got
Give them
woody.
the Colin to put in the ground in Florida.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
I have seen, we had a customer a guest come out a couple years ago, and we were talking about poinsettias a lot. And he showed me a picture from when he lived in Florida, and he had one that was just a tree.
Head.
It
Yeah.
was massive.
Native to Mexico, they get to be 25, 30-foot trees out there.
See them a lot down there. They make a great landscape plant. So all you got to do is treat them like any other plant. Don't kill them.
Yeah, don't just throw them out.
Yeah. You had one for years that you
Oh, yeah.
bonsai'd. It was
Yep.
cool. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
I love a little tree form poinsettia.
You do.
It's
You love a
one of
little
my
tree
favorite.
form anything, just
You're
like
right.
your feature plant last week,
You're right, the little tree.
the little tree.
Y'all, we still have that little
You're
tree.
still smiling.
Little tree.
All right, let's get
I
one
love
last
that little tree.
question in.
Okay,
do
here
it.
we go.
Best time of year to plant ornamental grasses, now or wait?
It kind of depends, and I think Bridget would back me up on this, our grass girl. Some of our grasses can stay a little wet over the wintertime, okay? We're not worried about cold. We're worried about wet. So some of the grasses are extremely hardy. We're not worried about it. You could certainly plant them right now.
All
Some,
your sedges, they're
totally fine, yeah. But there's some grasses out there, and come talk to Bridget. Like I said, she's our grass girl out here. Come talk to her about which ones you probably shouldn't plant this time of year. Wait till spring.
Okay. All righty, folks. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, David, we need to say happy birthday to my eldest daughter, Dr. Eliza Blair Blanks.
Happy birthday!
birthday.
She is entering her farewell to the 20s tour
All
this
right.
week. So
I made it there.
happy birthday, sweetheart.
Way to go.
She loves this place. too.
Remember when she was just a wee
running
one?
up and down the hallway in her jammies with
Yeah.
the round mounds. So,
Aw.
yeah. Anyhow, folks, next Saturday we're going to come back. We want you to come back too. So when you're out partying on Thursday and maybe Friday, don't do stupid. So you can come and join us next Saturday morning at 8 o'clock.
Have an
And-
extra dose of tryptophan,
Yeah, we'll
called
have-
turkey.
Yes.
Take a nap.
and just sleep it off. But hey, no activity is better than gardening. So that's why we come in here for you. See
it.
you next Saturday morning. And happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Turkey.
Turkey.
Oops.
Yes. Look at that turkey.
Good timing on the turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.